coming your way. Hey, hey, it's video of the day.
The hag from Hanoi still manages to annoy. Speak of Jane Fonda, who used her Lifetime Achievement Award speech as the Screen Actors Guild Awards to push Hollywood to stand up to Trump and defend all things woke. Roll it, Rhonda.
Make no mistake, empathy is not weak or woke. And by the way, woke just means you give a damn about other people. Back to empathy. A whole lot of people are going to be really hurt by what is happening, what is coming our way. And even if they're of a different political persuasion, we need to call upon our empathy and not judge, but listen from our hearts and welcome them into our tent, because we are going to need a big tent to resist successfully what's coming at us.
Well, good luck finding a tent, Jane. They're all out of stock in L.A. for obvious reasons. There's your empathy, lady.
Oh, my God.
And later, Fran Drescher, president of the Screen Actors Guild and perhaps high as a kite, had thinly veiled words for the current administration.
When man versus man, unspeakable acts of violence and destruction are justified by maniacal, ego-driven thought. When man versus nature, nature will always win, as we experienced on January 7th, 2025, when extreme winds, then fires, made for a lethal and disastrous inferno, followed by torrential rains, floods, mudslides, and earthquakes. Wake up, humans. We can't let greed continue to deny global warming.
All right, hold on. She can't hear you. It's funny, she references the fires, but never the government in charge that led to it, run by a progressive mayor who obeyed every woke commandment. It's kind of scary that they define what they do as empathy. They do it in a city plagued by homelessness, crime, drug addiction, and the devastations of preventable disasters, all of it resulting from their policies that they defend proudly as woke. I mean, if that's compassion, what are they like when they aren't compassionate? I have a feeling we're about to find out. Dr. Drew, I look at Jane Fonda and I go, there is one old lady. But there's no wisdom. Like, generally when you get older, the wisdom comes with you. And there, like, nothing that she said was rife with being on Earth. And you know what I mean?
No experiential learning.
No experience. How is that possible?
I don't know how people do that, but she's done it. But your point about the tents is exactly the correct point. It's toxic empathy.
Yes.
It's a new term. This is toxic empathy. When I empathize with a patient, I go, come with me. We stand firm against your illness. We do all kinds of unpleasant work with you that you don't like. Otherwise, you'd get better on your own.
Yeah.
And giving them the rigs and the tents and the heroin is death sentence.
Yes.
That's toxic empathy. And the idea that the only kind of empathy, the only way to deal with people is the way we say you deal with people, that's grandiose narcissism, period. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that you can be deeply concerned about humans and not be interested in doing it the way Jane Fonda thinks we should do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of amazing. I guess, like, the fires were only maybe a month or so ago, and they are like, they've moved on to something that is far worse, and that is Trump. Trump has not caused any fires. He was trying to prevent them years ago.
Yeah, I mean, talking about a month, it blows my mind that Trump has only been in office for a month, because the amount that he's been able to get done in 1 month was more than Joe Biden was able to accomplish in 4 years. And on top of that, he also has to work on reversing so much of the damage that was done over the last administration. And, you know, DEI, I mean, it was never about diversity in the beginning. It was always about just lowering standards for people. And if you truly do care about people, you know, contrary to Jane Fonda's point, you want the highest of standards for them, and that's finally what we're getting in this country. And Jane Fonda, I mean, I know that at one point, I'm looking at her now, I know she was highly respected for her workout tips, but I feel like the amount of people who are coming to her now for workout advice are the same amount of people who care about her political views, which is close to none at this point.
Well, they applauded her in that room, Tom. But of course, she is a legend. That's what happens when you get older. You immediately become a legend because you just happen to outlive people.
And she, you know, what she was saying was a bunch of nonsense. Although she looks and sounds, I got to give her credit. She's 5 years older than Biden.
No, you got to. I agree. I agree. Very, very strong. But wrong.
Yes,
wrong.
She hasn't got. I mean, she's gotten dumber than when she was Hanoi Jane.
Yes.
And at least then
she was hot
like,
too.
Yes, but she was like a real hippie at the time. But now she's like super rich, and she's talking about compassion. And like, what is she doing for these people that she complains,
Yes.
you know, talks about being compassionate about? Very clueless, but this is the way they are. They don't know anything about politics. Even the ones I like I love Paul McCartney, but I saw him the other day talking about AI. Yeah. And he's been around for so long, and he just doesn't ever think about that. He was like, AI, you've got to protect the artists. He's like, you got to protect the artists. So people out there making the laws, writing something for the artists. It's like, he's just like, he thinks like people who make laws, they're really smart, and he just trusts them. He's like, you know, throw something for the artists. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous. They don't know about the world.
Yes. Do your impression of George Harrison. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Michelle, I mean, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, it's not surprising. She's in the audience. They expect this. They will go along with it. But
is it just me, or did Fran Drescher sound a little bit like Kamala Harris there?
yes, I think they have the same prescription. They have the same prescription.
Same writer. It was
same
like
boxed wine.
the world, it's melting, and there's rain, and I must pad my patty feet on the sand before there is an earthquake, which is brought on by greed and climate change. Earthquakes are not caused by climate change.
Nothing is.
I mean, it was crazy. But yeah, I kind of thought, well, you never see Fran and Kamala in the same room together.
You gotta watch the whole Fran Drescher speech.
Oh gosh, I don't know if I can take it. I don't know if I can take it. You called it toxic empathy. It's also, Gad Sad, our friend, calls it suicidal empathy, because also you bring in conditions that are kind to some people and others get murdered. Or you bring in certain immigrants to Germany and a bunch of people get plowed over by a car by an immigrant. So there's the toxic and there's the suicidal.
There you go. Both are bad for you, by the way.
They are. They're both.
Don't try that at home, kids. Coming up, refreshment candor from the human salamander.